Welcome back. It is the new year, which means new classes, new boot camps, new workshops on all of our servers on Scriptcamp and WordCamp, which are the ones that I'm most active on, and I'm running the screenwriting and novel writing classes on. You can find our new upcoming classes on Fridays and Saturdays. Oh, here we are. Hello. Fridays and Saturdays for the upcoming boot camps. There's this current time slot, which is Saturday 12 to 2, and the other boot camp time slot is going to be from 3 to 5 later today. So keep an eye on the schedule for the new schedule or the new slate of boot camps, which will be coming up very soon. We're going to have screenwriting, which will be 2-in-1. That will be both movies and TV, and then novel writing, which will be the one from 3 to 5. So just 2 boot camps going on right now, but new classes, workshops, and events being added all the time. And always keep an eye out for updates, guests, and one-off sessions because we like to, sometimes on shorter notice, we will have more of a one-off event with a guest, which is always fun. Thank you for being with us. We were hoping that today we would talk about starting our writing year. And we can, of course, give you the whole spiel about what is Scriptcamp and why you should join this. But ultimately today, our objective was to get everyone kind of calibrated and on track for the upcoming year of projects, meaning that we want to give feedback on log lines if you have any ready to share, or you're trying to pick between different log lines that you're trying to settle on which one you want to work on first. And in general, basically starting to plan out your year, thinking of which scripts do I want to write and when? How long is it going to take me to approach those different projects? On average, you should be aiming to write a first draft in about 10 to 12 weeks. And then I would say not really spending much longer than 6 months on any individual script. So with that in mind, you can plan for maybe 3 scripts this year. I think that's a good 3 really solid scripts is a good benchmark to aim for every year. If you can do more, great. If you're writing half-hour TV pilots, you can obviously do more than that. If you're writing epic 3-hour movies, you'll probably do more, skewing more towards less than that, more like 2 scripts a year. And that's perfectly fine as long as you are continually creating and finishing brand new work to add to your portfolio, putting your best work and research and time into, and making sure to get the feedback, make the edits, and then move on when you're ready. That will just advance your career to the next step, or that will get you moving in the right direction towards building a strong portfolio and entering 26 with the best possible position for yourself as a writer. So we will be able to go down the list today, and if if you want to speak up and share what some of your goals are for this year, maybe share some log lines that you have that you want to workshop or get feedback on. Or if you have questions that you want to ask just about how to plan out your writing year, then today is a great day to do that. Let's see how many members we have here. Looks like we have about 15 just on Discord. Maybe a few more on Zoom, perhaps. But regardless, we'll try to get through as many as we can. If you want to pass and don't have anything that's ready to work on, you obviously do not have to. I will probably start with just some of the very basics of what log lines are and why this matters to give you a few minutes to get your stuff in order. So if you have something that you want to share, as I'm talking, I would be going to opening up your notes document, or if you have some sort of shared folder that has all your different ideas in it or something like that, be opening that up, be getting ready to paste in really just the logline, title, genre, and comps for your upcoming feature or pilot ideas in order to get that feedback on them. Or if you just want to talk it through, that's fine as well. There's not one way you have to do this, but I will give you those just like 5 to 10 minutes of intro stuff for you to get your work in order and be ready to share that in the docs and assignments channel if you want to get that feedback today. Okay, so while you're doing that, we're going to go into some of just the very basics of what log lines are, why they matter, and what we're working on here. So to begin with, a log line is just a one sentence that says, what is your script about? We've heard, if you've been here for a while, you've heard this a million times. And in the sort of breaking into screenwriting kind of world, there's a lot of discussion around log lines because this is just a tool to calibrate your goals for the project, to understand what it is that you're trying to make. And it's also an expression of craft. It's like the first thing, it's like the handshake between you and the reader. It's the first thing that somebody will see from you if they're deciding, am I going to want to work with this person? Am I going to want to read something of theirs? So it's actually pretty useful for that purpose of simply getting someone interested in reading the script. That's what we mean by marketing. It's also an expression of craft in that it's kind of a preview of your writing ability and your writing skill, because a well-crafted logline is more likely to be a well-crafted script. It's not guareed to be, but the thought is that it is more likely to be. So it's sort of you putting your best foot forward and making that really strong handshake before you get anyone to actually agree to read any further. So you want to make sure to be doing a good job with this. There's pretty much no way that you're ever going to submit a script to that will not want to see a logline. Unless you make a really personal connection with someone, you're like, you have to read this. If you can convince them of that without a logline, then more power to you. But most of the time, in order to entice someone to read a script, you will need a logline minimum, maybe even a one sheet before they will read the whole thing, which would be just a one-page sort of summary of the entirety of the story. Most of the time, producers want to read one sheets before they read scripts nowadays. You don't get paid for writing them, but that's the world we live in. So I hope that's clear what loglines are for and why they matter, and how, as both that sort of like first way that you can use to build confidence in your reader, to express what my goals are, what I was trying to make, and to help make it clear where this fits into the market and the world of Hollywood and writing, right? So you know who would be able to make this, who would have any interest in making this, who would be the kind of person that would even want to read this. So we often get the question, do they really matter? And the answer is yes, but no, but also yes. It's like if a script is really good, then it's really good. If the log line doesn't measure up to the quality of the script, that's possible. It can happen. It doesn't make a script worse because it has a bad log line. But at the end of the day, given how difficult it is to get anyone to read a script in the first place, you are setting yourself up for success by putting extra work into this one sentence and making sure this represents the type of movie you're trying to make and reflects your craft in that handshake kind of way. Hope that makes sense. Okay. I'll stop talking about why we do loglines. Any questions on that? Okay, good. I've talked long enough about it. Everyone hopefully understands how this is important and what this is for. And I didn't even mention the purpose of keeping your writing on track while you are executing that draft. By structuring a logline well, you're giving yourself a jump start on outlining, and you are kind of starting to write the story already. Okay, so we can look at either TV, movie, or even book loglines today if you want. We were getting some questions recently about whether you need loglines for things like short stories or flash fiction. Typically, no. There are some publications that might ask for that, but generally, this is something for long, full-length stories. And in addition, a logline is a very plot-focused sentence. It is sort of telling us, who is this about? What are they doing on an external level that we're going to watch them do? What is going to be difficult or interesting about that? How are they going to approach that? That's going to make it feel unique and specific and, challenging. Why is that going to feel, we're just trying to subtextually answer the question of why would this be worth watching? Kind of like when you write a college essay, you're writing about, I'm going to write about the time that I got into a soccer club or something like that. But really you're writing the subtextual purpose of that document is answering the question, why should I be admitted to this college? Same sort of thing. So you're always answering this question, why should I read this? Why does this stand out? What is different about this? Because you're targeting fans of your genre, but you have to imagine your fans of your genre have seen a lot of that kind of movie before. So your logline should also not feel too down the middle. That's another challenge here, is that like a really well-structured logline might just be kind of meh. It might just be kind of boring. What if I told you it was about a determined detective who, when his newest case gets a little personal, he ends up having to go off the books? Like, that is clear what that story is, but what's the issue with it? It sounds like we've seen it. Even if you haven't seen it, you feel like you've seen it, kind of thing. So try not to make your logline sound like just a description of the genre. You want to make the specificity and the concrete uniqueness of it stand out and feel like, even though I've seen a million of these, oh, I've got to see the one where blank. So that's a great logline is a good way for you to sort of show off and push the hook forward on your story to sort of audition for people's attention. Hope that makes sense. So we're looking at a single sentence. It's going to give us basically the act one into the act two. It doesn't necessarily really have to go all the way into the act three, but it's going to maybe suggest the trajectory for the rest of the story. We want to imply visual, interesting actions. So we know what we're watching your characters do. It shouldn't be about a character trying to come to terms with something, ruminate on something, or discuss something. Movies aren't really about people sitting around thinking about stuff. They're about people doing stuff, concrete stuff that we can understand once it has been accomplished. And so that's why you may have to think more in terms of specific milestones or concrete goalposts for your characters. if you want to write a movie about a guy that just wants to be the best boxer, it's helpful to have some sort of concrete, tangible external metric for what that could mean. What's an example of what would be an external metric for how could we determine the best boxer?
Heavyweight champion of the world.
There you go. A contest, a tournament. It's like a built-in, really easy way we have of determining who is the best at something. Well, at least for the purposes of your story, who's the best. It doesn't always have to be the champion of the world. It could be, but it could just also be the best boxer in, I don't know, Tennessee, right? Well, we have a tournament that can sort of showcase. It has a winner and a loser. Sports movies have that kind of built-in story structure to them, right? They have the sort of idea of the winner and the loser, and that sort of determines it calibrates your character's goals and makes that really clear, right? So, hope that makes sense as to how you might have to externalize your character's goals a little more, especially for slice of life, dramedy, mumblecore kind of stories like this, where you're like, it's about a girl trying to find her way. It's like, well, yeah, that's like that's the description of the type of stuff that she's doing, or that's like the subtext of the character's emotional journey. But I need to know what she's actually doing on an external level. So try to be really clear about those benchmarks and goalposts. Any questions about that? Okay, here's a question. Geeky Gator says, how do you balance describing a logline without spoiling the story? You want to sort of spoil the story. And the logline isn't so much about showcasing twists as it is about showcasing the hook. So you don't really have to say, a detective needs to infiltrate a criminal gang only to discover that his wife is the criminal gang leader, and now it's like family against family kind of thing. You don't necessarily, unless that's the hook of your story. Like if that happens as the break into your second act, that might be a great logline. But if that's like a twist for like almost towards the end, you probably wouldn't include it in a logline at all. So you have to find what the hook of your story really is. Like, what is the unique appeal of it? Is it husband and wife at each other's throats? If that is in fact the hook, put that forward and make that, bring that to the surface more. It's not a spoiler to tell us what the hook is. Especially because the hook almost always has to become evident by the break into two. There's some rare exceptions, but yeah, with like Hollywood style writing, the hook is like the break into two into the premise scenes of the movie. So that's what you want to actually just straight up tell us. Any like big twists after that, after the midpoint, you don't have to really include. It might not even really make sense for you to include it because you're trying to tell us how do we get into the story, who is it about, and what do they have to do. You don't have to tell us how it plays out. I hope that makes sense. Does that answer your question? Okay.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. So yes, spoil the hook, don't spoil the twists. Any other questions on that? Okay, I mentioned stay away from these really intangible internal ideas like must decide is one of the worst ones. Must choose between. It's like that's the subtext. You have to tell us what's the character's actual objective. The choice is what they have to make along the way, but almost always that choice is a representation of two different paths that character's life could go down if they take certain actions. That we need to know about what actions they're actually taking. Um, and avoid groups of characters as protagonists as well. You don't really want to start with a group of teenagers. It's like the classic slasher movie thing. Or like a couple, a struggling couple. It's like, who's the main character? Whose story is this? Is a massive question for loglines. Pick a protagonist. Okay, you can use this template as a starting point. You don't have to use this exactly to a T, but these are the basic questions we usually want to know. And you can expect to get feedback in these terms. Like if it's not really clear how we get into the story, then you may not have highlighted the inciting incident clearly enough. If we don't really get a good sense of who the main character is or why them, we get the question, you hear this question like, but why him? Like, or why now? That's another big question. Then it may not be clear. You may not have picked an adjective that describes your character in such a way that we fully grasp who that act one version of that character is. You need to use the premise scenes to tell us, like, what are we actually watching people do here? And it shouldn't feel internal, like must think about, must decide, must consider must come to terms with. Those all are just murky internal things that can all be done in someone's head. And then before, in order to, stakes is kind of telling us an idea of the scope of the story often. So if we have 3 days to solve the murder, for instance, then we do want to know that. And that tells us like the limitations, the specific walls or challenges that are going to add pressure and again, uniqueness to this version or to this story that we're reading. Hope that all makes sense. So you could just type that out or copy paste that, whatever you want to do, if that's useful for you. And if you break that structure, it's fine, but just make sure that we kind of at least imply the answers to these questions. Okay, we're almost ready to take a look at some of our first loglines, and also as we go down our lists, you will have the opportunity to share whatever your plan is for the year if you want to. If you want to, have a powerhouse year where you write 6 to 8 scripts, that's great. If you really just want to get one done, that's fine as well. So there's no expectations, but you can just tell us how you want to approach your year and how you're planning out your next couple projects. I will take one more question before we go in, just because I see a question from someone whose username starts with J. When I'm in streamer mode, some usernames are cut off for some reason. I'm not totally clear why. Geeky Gator, I'll come to your question in just a second, but I would say post loglines in the docs and assignments channel. So how would logline be if it's an ensemble? So almost always your ensemble will revolve around a central protagonist, whether it's the patriarch of the family, whether it's the most the most active character, whether it's almost always it's going to be the character that has the most at stake that we open the story with, and that is continually the most active and protagonistic throughout. Even if you really, in your most honest heart, you view it as a true ensemble that could not possibly have a main character, for the purposes of a logline, you have to pick a character. So pick someone, pick the most important person, and revolve all of that around them. Okay, and yes, so you'll paste the loglines in the chat. We will look at them in the order that they are posted, and you will also be expected to speak out loud and answer questions if you can. If there's no way you can at the moment, it's okay, but it's just you'll get way better feedback if you can answer questions. All right, let's post in the Docs Assignments channel, please.
This might be a dumb question, but where is that docs channel? I'm new to Discord, so.
Oh, all good. I'll share it in the chat.
They
Go ahead.
so let me make it so everyone can see the channel. Hold on a second.
Oh, was it members only? My bad. I didn't realize.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
we could just use this chat if that's the case. Is that better, Nacho?
I just made it so public so everybody can post in there.
Okay. Thank you, Pen. All right, look, we have one from Conrad. Anyone else, feel free to add yours. We will go in the order that they're posted, unless someone wants to pass.
I will be adding mine. I'm just tidying up there.
Okay, thank you. We will start with Conrad in just a minute. I'll give you guys like 30 seconds to find your document and post. And I do have quite a few more slides that we could potentially go over if you guys have more questions about time slot format, like TV questions or genre questions. But we'll look at a few loglines first. Okay, thank you to everyone who's shared so far. Let's start with Conrad.
Did you want me to read it out loud, or?
Yeah, so also do you have, it's okay if you don't, but if you have comps and genre for this?
I do. I can edit real quick.
Yeah, sure. All right, I'll paste this in.
Yep.
Thank you for that. Okay, and this is a feature, right? Okay. Let's make this really big. All right, the cradle. I don't see genre, but I'm guessing genre is sci-fi.
It is, yes.
Okay, that's all. All right. So a single clone custodian aboard a space ark preserving Earth's last species. I'm with you so far. Finds out her entire purpose is a lie and must overthrow the ship's AI in a last-ditch effort to find humanity a new home. Why is humanity capitalized?
I got capital happy.
Okay. Is humanity like the name of a robot or something? Okay, so you mean
No,
just humanity?
no,
Okay,
no.
you just mean humanity. Okay, humanity.
Yeah.
In order to find humanity a new home. Okay. So, good setup. I do have some questions. Is Nausicaa an anime? Or am I thinking of something else?
Yeah.
It is. Is this an anime?
Miyazaki. No. It's just I basically I did a tribute to the ending from that movie.
Okay.
And the main
don't-
character
de-
sort of wasn't.
Okay, if it's just like a sort of kind of comp, definitely don't include it because that like throws the balance of what it seems like your goals are like way off. Just pick two comps.
Mhm.
Okay, 2001 A Moon, I totally get it. I'm not sure what Silent Running is, but I'm guessing it's another sort of contemplative space drama type movie like this.
It's a space farming movie, and kind of like that's like they have biomes of farms and stuff on this ship, so that's kind of
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Cool. But yeah, pare it down to just two comps when you can.
Okay.
Okay, a single clone custodian aboard a space ark preserving Earth's last species. Does that mean Earth went through some sort of apocalypse? Or does that mean it's just like a sort of bank of species in case something happens?
We technically don't know.
Okay, can you tell me the answer to that?
We have no idea. Oh yeah. I have no idea. This takes off hundreds of years after everyone left Earth, so nobody knows what happened to Earth, and that's not really an important thing in my story. To me, so I kind of want to leave that unknown, but I don't know if I should change that.
Well, so we don't know what's going on Earth, you're saying?
Yes, we do not.
We don't. Okay, so all we know is this is basically a single person in a spaceship preserving like a zoo, essentially.
Yes, it's a ship the size of a continent with every biome of every Earth species, flora and fauna being maintained in space.
Okay, but we don't know why. Is that right?
No,
We don't know.
no, we don't
Okay.
know why.
Finds out her purpose is a lie, but how will we know her purpose is a lie if we don't even know what her purpose is?
Question, sir. Reconciliation.
Here, somebody speaking alive. Would you guys please mute your mics? Oz? Thank you. Go ahead.
Would you like me to answer that?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. So she is born as like she's supposed to be just the only caretaker in this biome, and that's her whole life. She's the only person here. Then she finds out, like, I mean, that this ship is supposed to land on a planet to like basically offload all these animals and then start a new life. She finds out not only is she not the only clone on here, but the ship's AI is forcing the ship to never land. It just keeps it in space for centuries because it found that's the best way to preserve humanity. And she wants to free them from that and land on a planet.
Oh, wait. I think okay. Am I understanding correctly then that you're saying it's like an Exodus type of ship? For some reason I was picturing this as just in orbit over Earth, which is why I was asking about Earth. But her purpose is in fact very clear. Her purpose would then be to maintain the colony ship until we can introduce life on a new planet.
Yes.
Okay. So custodian kind of doesn't fully even communicate the full scope of her job in that case. She is like and that makes it sound like she's a janitor. Do you see what I mean?
Right. Okay.
But she's like in charge of the ship, it sounds like.
She's mostly just a farm worker. She's not in charge, but like she's there just to do her job, which is taking care of the animals and plants.
Oh, so you're saying the ship's AI is really the one in charge? She is just for maintenance?
Yeah.
She is just doing maintenance?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, okay. But then why is her job a lie then? In what way is her purpose a lie?
Good point.
Her purpose is to clean and maintain the ship. Isn't that what she really has to do?
Well, it's the complication there is that the ship is supposed to land, and she finds out she's not there temporarily taking care of the animals. Like she's basically going to be doing this forever, and be reborn as a new clone, like ad nauseum.
Oh,
And she wants to break that
like in
cycle.
Moon. That's interesting, but
Yeah.
but the development here is not that her purpose is a lie, it's that the ship's purpose is a lie,
Good point.
right?
Yes.
Okay, so the ship has been lying to her about what it is doing.
Yes.
Okay, okay. That's a lot clearer. I was really struggling with understanding how her purpose even plays a part if she's just a custodian.
Mhm.
So okay. In that case, I think you need to, I would go back into that first clause and rephrase it in terms of like the nature of the mission is the lie, or like the ship has been lying to
Okay.
her, or like the yeah, it's her role is not changing. That seems like almost the problem. Okay, so now I get that. So the ship has been lying, or you could even frame it like it's been lying about its destination or something like that. You know,
Okay.
it's been uh deceiving, manipulating her about about the nature of its mission. And she must overthrow the ship's AI in a last-ditch effort to find humanity a new home. The issue with this part is just that I didn't understand this was the problem until the last few words. It's like you set up one problem, but then you give us, or you start from one problem, then transition to another. Maybe if you start a little bit more like by describing what the purpose of this mission seems to be, if it's something a
Mhm.
little bit more like the the sole human custodian of a generation ship bound to colonize a new planet discovers that the ship's been lying to her and must complete the mission on her own, or something a little bit more along those lines. Like it's hard to understand that finding humanity a new home was the point at all until because you don't bring it up until the very end. So
Mhm.
if you maybe just reframe this that clarifies what the purpose of the expedition is in the first place, then we'll get her role in it a little more and we'll also understand the stakes better.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Hope that's helpful. Any questions there?
Nope. I've been trying to tweak this log line for months now, and it keeps getting better. So I really appreciate your notes on it. I'm
No,
gonna keep
yeah,
tweaking it.
no problem. I get it. Now that you've explained it, it sounds interesting, and I think you're pretty close. You're like 88% of the way there. So just a few more tweaks and you'll have a good one.
Thank you, man.
Thanks for sharing. Hope that's helpful. All right. And anything else you want to say about your plans for this year? Is this your one big script? Do you have a couple more in the pipeline? Anything else you want to share?
This is my magnum opus, or the one that I'm trying to put everything I've learned into it, and it's my original story. I've done a previous one that was an adaptation of a comic, so I want to polish that one up and get it off to like the fan fiction sites for reviews and stuff. I'm really proud of that one. It turned out really well. So no, I'm here to learn, and the more I learn, the better I do, and I'm here for it.
Thanks, Conrad. Okay. We have a couple more. Michael, do you want to go next?
Yep, absolutely.
Nice.
Oh gosh, okay, I've copy pasted the wrong one. 1 second. Okay, here we go. On his last night of employment, a disgraced detective must go undercover with his straight-edged replacement to cover the tracks of his own crimes before he's discovered.
Okay. Thank you for that. And this is a movie, it looks like.
Yeah.
Okay. Crime, dark comedy, love it. All right, let me just read it back. What was their title?
No, I didn't put one.
Okay. All good.
Sorry, I'll do that now.
Do you have an idea for one, or should we just call it Untitled Crime Movie for now?
Yeah, I've got an idea. A couple of dicks.
Okay. All right. I may have seen that title used before. I would just Google that, just to be totally sure. But you could use it as
Yeah, it has been,
it has been. Okay.
but it got changed to a different one.
Okay. All right. On his last night of employment, a disgraced detective, meaning, well, hang on, let me read the whole thing, then I'll ask some questions. Must go undercover with his straight-edged replacement to cover the tracks of his own crimes before he is discovered. Okay. I think I get it. Let me just ask some questions to make sure. The last night of his employment, meaning that well, let me ask you a quick question. What country is this set in?
Australia.
Australia. Okay. Changes a lot. So you say he's disgraced and also it's his last day of employment. Does that mean he is sort of scheduled? He has like it's been like decided that he's no longer fit for the force and he's essentially being forced out?
Yeah, so it's sort of like everyone knows that he's going to get fired the next day, but no one is they're not being forthcoming about it, but because he has a lawyer, like the lawyer knows and has told him as such. And this person, his replacement, it's like the chief is saying, "Oh, just show this guy the ropes and hand over your case to him."
Mhm.
But we don't know if you're getting fired, but it's obvious.
But when you say he's disgraced, what is he disgraced for?
Yeah, so there's a vigilante killer, and the detective made a complaint against an officer, and that officer ended up like being killed by the vigilante. So they think everyone blames him essentially.
Everyone. Oh, so they sort of view him as having made a mistake that got someone killed.
Yes, or
Okay.
even like heading another officer up for the vigilante, like specifically.
Oh, that's way worse. So I guess what I'm trying
Yeah.
to assess is, do they already think he's a criminal, or he's like the plot revolves him around him trying to cover up crimes? But do people already think he's a criminal?
They don't actually. That's what gets revealed quite early on, sort of like the inciting incident that
Oh, they
he's
don't.
actually done a crime as well.
So is he truly disgraced if that's the case then? Or, I mean, because if he's already disgraced, it feels like he has a little less to preserve in terms of his reputation. I guess though you're saying it would get way worse. Like maybe he was disgraced for something not that bad, but like he what kind of crimes has he actually been doing? Is he like a serial killer, or is he a drug dealer, or what does he do?
Yeah, so the guy that he made a complaint against, the vigilante, didn't actually kill him. He killed him.
So the crimes are that he's sort of a extrajudicial murderer. Like he sort of
Yes.
does I don't even know what you call that. He goes outside the line of duty to exact justice in his own on his own terms, kind of thing.
Yes, but just for this one person that he made the complaint against.
Oh, just this one time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I feels like you might have also want to just say his own. Like if you say his own crimes, it makes it sound like he's some kind of career criminal that's done bad things a lot, or that he's working with
Mm.
it's like The Departed, where he's working with the mob or something like that. It's really if it's really just one incident that he's trying to cover up. Um, I wonder if there's like a way that to explain this in such a way that really clarifies all of that. Let me go through it one more time. So, and I guess maybe it might make a little more sense to. Let me read it one more time. All right. His last night of unemployment, disgraced detective must go undercover with his straight edge replacement to cover the tracks of his own crimes before he's discovered. Okay. I think the hook is pretty clear. My mind wants to like include more of the like specificity of it, just because after reading this, I'm like, wait, but what does that actually mean? But now that I'm looking at it again, maybe I'm kind of over kneading the dough on this one. Maybe you have pretty much clarified like what the hook and the fun of the story is. And it has that kind of nice departed quality of uh the bad guy working with the good guy has to cover up the fact that he's the bad guy and kind of thing. Which works really well in this genre. Um I guess for me, I just don't understand the circumstances. Like, it would be. I think this version that you have actually works pretty well. I think it's at like a 90%. I would love personally for it to be like to get it to 100%. I would just maybe take a step back and kind of like walk us through what happens a little more, rather than saying like you're sort of skipping over the incident that ends up with him getting disgraced because you're starting with on his last night of employment and then not really telling us what the circumstances were. So we don't really know what he's trying to cover up or how bad a guy he actually is or what the stakes really are. So like that to me is kind of like the one point down on this. I mean, I think I do see enough of the fun of the core hook for that not to matter that much. But I might suggest if you can maybe don't skip over the disgraced incident. Like when evidence of his vigilante of like a vigilante murder he committed comes to light, a detective must blank and blank to cover it up. You know what I mean? Maybe just like tell us a little more what actually happened, and therefore we know why he needs to stay out of trouble and like what the consequences would be if this was really found out. It's just a little ambiguous right now what the stakes really are and like what the penalty like. Do people already think he's a criminal? And if not, what are they going to think of him after this evidence comes out? Like, is he going to be arrested? Is he just going to be fired? Whatever it is. So I I know that might not be the most helpful comments just because I kind of walked back a little bit from uh, a lot of ideas of how you could start to change it. But I hope that's clear as to like what's working about it and like I guess I haven't connected all the dots for you, but I hope that makes sense how you could sort of specify the situation a little more.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that.
No problem. Sometimes I can sometimes give more prescriptive suggestions on this. So let me just frame it like this. We'll say specifics of situation and clarity of stakes. And those are both connected to the actual crime that he committed. So maybe try one where you kind of go a little more linearly and tell us specifically what he's trying to cover up. Okay. Nice work on this. Kind of scattered feedback, I know, but any questions or things you want to focus on here?
Oh no, just want to say thank you for taking the time.
No problem. Thank you for sharing. All right.
Oh, actually, there's one question, Connor. Just on the other logline that I posted in the comments. It's not my logline, but like just going off everything that you discussed earlier, like I feel like this logline sort of goes against the grain. I just want to get like your take on it, I guess.
Oh, sure. This is the kind of notorious. I scrolled up to find it. Was this called Roses? Was that the title of it? Something like that?
Yes.
It was. A married man takes his girlfriend on a romantic getaway to a villa, period. There is a swimming pool, period. So this is one that deliberately sort of goes completely against the grain to get attention. And like, this is a trick you can pull if you have a strong team. This is like a marketing style or like a hooky marketing manager forward style logline that would like be on lists and stuff to sort of build intrigue and get people to read it. This is not the very first logline that I would use to write to entice somebody into making my movie necessarily. But yeah, if you've got an awesome agent, an awesome manager, and they go all in on something like this, it can stand out. It can really work. Yeah, hope that clears up my feelings on that. You should generally, I would suggest not trying to be too coy with stuff like this and not trying to goof around too much. Like you will sort of build more confidence just displaying strong craft rather than trying to do gimmicks. But then again, I have friends that have done gimmicks and have broken in. So your mileage may vary. If the writing is there, it will always back it up.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for the questions and logline sharing there. All right. Megan, do you want to go next?
If you want, you can skip me because mine is a log line for a novel. It's up to you.
Well, we do have more upcoming novel events, so I can come back to you if there's time at the end. Do you want to? And then otherwise we can.
That works for me.
We can do it in a book event.
No, that works for me. You can come back to me at the end. That's fine.
Okay. Thanks, Megan. Let's look at Geeky Gator scripts.
Yep. So, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So so I guess just a bit of a preamble before I get into the log line. So my format is so here's interesting. Initially it was written as a script, but I kind of reformatted it more as more of a pitch / prose because in the short term, as you can kind of see the format, I plan to put it in pitch it first as a graphic novel first because I've heard a lot about how studios and execs, and considering I work in the media and entertainment industry, more in corporate finance, but I've heard a lot about how stories there's a greater chance of it being greenlit if it goes through a proven IP type of route, like a graphic novel, instead of like pitching it straight as a TV series or show or movie, etc. So I'm kind of going with this route first, but I still have my log line and everything, which I'll share. So my log line is when a Space Force officer vanishes beyond a mysterious wormhole, her estranged father is forced to confront the cost of his acting ambitions as the brutal truth of what his daughter endured slowly comes to light. And the tagline is so much to see, so little do they know. And then my themes are in sci-fi, fantasy, and treated a little bit more of an epic and has character-driven drama moments as well. And it's comparisons that I guess some of the inspirations I got from my story are from Prometheus, Man of Steel, and Barry, the TV show on HBO starring Bill Hader. So that's my preamble.
Okay, thank you for that. So for this one, I'm having some trouble understanding a lot of the fundamentals. The Every comp is in a completely different genre. You've picked a sci-fi horror, a superhero with Superman, and a dark crime comedy on HBO about a hitman. I can't see how these things fit together. I can't quite figure out what you're trying to make here.
Right, right. So that's a reasonable question. So the so what is it that so I guess a little bit of the backstory is, and this kind of explained in the very beginning of the show. So on this planet, on Earth, on this futuristic Earth, there are about a million or so Superman type beings on the planet already. This was a result of a global virus that was spread across the world, and as a result, a lot of newborn children have to start to display, abilities like flight, super speed, etc.
Mhm.
And one of the Space Force officers, in this case, she vanishes through a mysterious wormhole. Her father is currently a struggling actor who works in New York City doing small bit parts, character roles, with the dreams of one day, landing that big role on Broadway. And he has a bit of a checkered past too as well. And he's just trying to navigate his acting ambitions while also dealing with the fact that his daughter, along with many other kids in this world, are superpowered beings, and trying to figure out his place along with all of humanity in this world. So that's kind of what I'm going for.
Okay. So you've included too much, and the goals seem too diffuse. And in terms of like how to just like what to include in just some of the basics here, we would go with genre, not themes. So, and I would just pick one or two, rather than like five or you had like four or five there. Just to
Yeah.
like your fundamental description stuff like this, the goal is not to include everything. The goal is to give the impression of like what we're watching the characters do, and I don't know what your character's doing here. I'm seeing space for and like the superhero stuff that adds like I never would have really guessed that unless you had just mentioned that just now. So maybe that's worth including something about that. So when his superhero space cop daughter goes through a wormhole, her dad is sad. But what does he do? What is his goal then?
Well, that's kind of one of the big interesting points, is that because he has no powers and he's stuck on Earth, he can't exactly go into space and search for her. So it sort of puts it's a magnifying glass on him, considering he prioritized his ambitions of becoming a stage actor on Broadway one day, but it costs him not being with his daughter and raising her through her critical moments. So really, it's more like it puts a magnifying glass on his mistakes, the sacrifices he had to make, and how much it potentially would have cost. Potentially seems to have cost, you know, losing his daughter potentially, and never being able to, you know, being able to find peace with himself. So that's kind of
But that just sounds like
insightful.
he's just thinking about stuff and being sad. What is he actually? What are we watching the guy do? What is the challenge or obstacle that he's facing? It's okay if you're not sure. You
That
can
that
go ahead.
I think the best way to say it is like it's kind of like the idea of the helplessness. Like he can't go and rescue his daughter or do anything. So the only thing he can do is just keep focusing on his ambitions. But it kind of it really it gnaws in the back of his head, because it realizes that, is this really worth it? Am I really achieving? Is this dreams and ambitions really worth it, knowing that I may have lost someone? And it kind of gnaws on that person, and it really kind of gives kind of a guilt complex. So that's what I was trying to go for more.
But that just sounds like it's a show about a sad actor. How is that? What you've picked Man of Steel as one of your comps. Like your main character is not a superhero and is not doing action adventure type stuff.
That's interesting you mentioned that, because the way my story is, it's kind of more like um, a co-protagonist type thing. So the first half of the season is going to deal with the father, and then the second half is going to deal with what happens on the other side of the wormhole with the daughter. So it's kind of like they're both like it's meant to be more formatted as like a father-daughter type story where both sides see their viewpoints on their relationship. So that was something I was aiming for. I don't know if that it sounds like that's probably not a good way, I'm guessing, right?
Certainly not. I mean, I mean, you could do that in the pilot. You could balance between their perspectives in the pilot. I wouldn't, you're not going to get to write more episodes though. So like I wouldn't plan out for the latter half of the season, that's when the premise kicks in. The premise has to engage in the pilot. You also, I mean, ultimately we'll have to write two log lines for this. There's a series log line and a pilot log line. So there might be a little differentiation there in terms of like where you can suggest that it's going versus what just happens in the pilot. But I don't think you're selling an epic sci-fi show about a sad actor that is trying to just make his career work. Like if that's all that's
Okay.
happening in the pilot, then the pilot's supposed to be a representative sample of what the show is. You've picked comps and the genre, and it seems like your goals are you're even choosing like comic book, a very visual medium, right? And so you'd think we'd be doing action, adventure, space type stuff, and your comps should probably be like Interstellar and First Man or things like this. I'm having trouble understanding how these comps kind of like sum up to the show, or even really what the show is. I could see it. I could see it maybe starting to come together if you're saying we're intercutting between the daughter and the father. She's on the other side of a wormhole. He's back on Earth, and now they have to, I don't know, get in touch somehow. Or he launches that, like you mentioned, this idea of a rescue mission. I don't know why an actor would be on a rescue mission, but if they have
No,
to,
the actor wouldn't be on the rescue mission. Like
go ahead.
the idea is that he, how do I say this? Because I see what you're saying. I see that, so maybe I should try to simplify it and just keep it focused on one person instead of trying to do the co-lead thing. Maybe I should just
It's up to you. I mean, it depends what the hook of the show is. I could see a cool show that where we're intercutting between what's going on in a different dimension and what we're doing back on Earth. There's shows like Counterpart on Amazon which make good use of premises like that. Or I could see a version where the daughter's just gone and now the dad has to do something interesting, either back on Earth or in space, or I don't quite know, but like uh the description type elements like this should really clarify what we're watching him do. And if the answer is just he's just acting in New York and being sad, then it doesn't feel like a sci-fi epic. That's just a drama with that happens to take place in a world with some sci-fi kind of in the distance. So I guess you can approach that however you want. You can like calibrate your goals on that and think about what you're really trying to make here. Because if it is truly like a big action adventure space epic kind of thing, then we have to do action adventure space epic stuff in the pilot.
okay.
Okay,
That's
hope that's
fair.
clear. Some good ideas here. It sounds unique. And the graphic novel thing can work. I've seen it work. I've seen many attempt it. I've been approached to adapt a bunch of graphic novels, and I've read a bunch of them. I will also warn you, they often don't go anywhere. But that's the case with everything. So the buyer beware on that one.
Okay.
Any questions?
Nothing else at the moment.
Okay, thank you for sharing. All right. We've got time left for more. Looks like a few folks have also posted a few different options of log lines they're trying to sort out, trying to figure out what they want to work on this year. That's fine. Shazadi, do you want to go next?
Sure.
All right. So is this a new draft of your log line?
Yeah, because I decided that I want to have two protagonists, and I'm not used to writing log lines with two protagonists.
Right. It's pretty tough. You usually just have to kind of pick one person and then frame the other person as a central relationship. All right, let's look at it. Ooh, that's a lot of comps. There we go. I would try to just pick two comps if you can. Okay. Here we are. Obsolescence. I've read some versions of this before, so familiar with some of the basics. We'll see if how much you've changed. All right. When automation guts the print industry, nice opening clause. A Black American secretary and her trade unionist husband must navigate betrayal and diverging ambitions before their marriage and principles collapse. All right. It sounds a bit more. This is still a film, right? Not a TV show. Yeah, I guess it says film right there.
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
about must navigate kind of abstract social ideas just feels more like a show because it feels more like you're describing like the subtext of interactions rather than nailing down a concrete goal. Do these characters have concrete goals, or are you sort of saying that uh if I remember correctly, she's sort of rising through the industry that he's been forced out of?
Yeah.
Is that still the hook?
Well, that and also she ends up being directly involved in uh with kind of one of the capitalists involved in like infiltrating his clothes shop slash trade union.
Oh, that's so interesting to me. I would just focus the logline on that personally. I mean, wife has to
Okay.
go behind her husband's back and infiltrate his company and rise through the ranks of the thing that he was forced out of. That to me is where the heart of the drama is.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
To describe it as they
So-
must navigate betrayal and diverging ambitions sounds like a bunch of scenes of people just like talking at home. I guess
Mhm.
it just doesn't feel that dramatic.
Yeah, I see.
So it sounds like you do have a dramatic hook to the story, though, especially the whole like doing, deceiving, working behind each other's back kind of thing.
Yeah,
I think that
thanks.
sounds like the core of the drama. Is that am I way off or am I on the right track?
No, yeah, that is basically the core of it now.
Okay, so it's almost like we mentioned The Departed earlier. It's kind of like that Departed thing of
Mhm.
I'm working the second secret job behind your back. If you find out, it'll all be a disaster. And of course, the truth will come out at some point because it's a kind of a lie story, and lie stories always have the truth come out.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's well written. And you've clearly done a lot of refining of this one. It's just that it sounds like you're describing a play or a TV show, and not like a movie that has that really clear dramatic core to it.
Okay. What about like I don't know why I struggle with the phrasing. Like I struggle with like if I come up with like a whole I can come up with all the story beats for something and then well, I know you're supposed to come up with the log line first, but like in case I end up realizing I have to change the log line a little bit, I struggle to just phrase the log line around the story.
Yeah, it can be tough. And although I do recommend coming up with logline first, most writers are going to be making adjustments to both the logline and the story, like one to match the other, all the way through the draft and even afterwards. So you're not alone. Many other writers do find some challenge with that. Any other questions I can answer in the meantime? I mean, I think you've done enough writing on this that I hope that I think that you will be able to write a new version of it that if you want to take that route, you would be able to sort of center that deception and that kind of like marriage conflict at the core of it, if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Any other questions I can answer right now?
I mean, do you think she should still just be the protagonist? Because you said it's usually better to just have one. But
Yeah.
I feel like I wanted it to be equal because I also don't want it to be. So I feel like with this, if it's mostly from her perspective, or if she's technically the protagonist,
Mhm.
I mean, I feel like it may just come across as a pro automation story unless I can really make her very uh like an anti-hero or something. Or not even anti-hero, like someone who kind of gives it her dark side.
That's up to you. I mean, I think that's for the script itself. The way that you present it is almost always easier if you use the POV of the most active character with the highest stakes. And in your case, she seems like she has more to lose, and she also seems like she has the clearer, more active goal. If his goal is just resist this, he doesn't have a finish line to that. Whereas she's actually like advancing forward in the company, getting promotions, having to keep this all behind her husband's back. It just feels like she has the protagonist energy to me.
Okay.
So when we read the script itself, it might be more equally balanced, though. That's totally fine.
Yeah, in my current story beats, I do feel like it's kind of equally balanced, but I mean, it's almost like it starts out mostly her and then ends with like mostly him.
Hmm. That's a bit,
I don't know if
that
that's
could be a bit of an odd uh, balance there. That might be a sign that something is a little off, but maybe it's fine. That's hard to say, not having read it. Hope that's helpful for the
okay.
logline, though.
Yeah, that's okay. Thanks.
Anything you want to speak to in terms of your career goals?
Um, Career goals?
Yeah, how many scripts do you want to write this year? What do you want to write?
Oh, yeah. So this year Probably, ideally we'll write two. If not, maybe it's unambitious, but I'll be happy if I just write one more.
That's fine. Even one script a year is fine.
Yeah, thanks. Like I just kind of right now, yeah, because I'm working on some other stuff too, I just want to be realistic. So that's why two would be ideal, but otherwise one.
Okay. Any thoughts for the next one?
Well, probably this one.
Oh, I meant after this.
Yeah, I'll
So if
do this
if
one.
this is
Yeah.
number one, what would be number two?
Number two might be that story, the brothers Blunt. I was working on a while ago.
Oh, that's
I
right.
kind
Yeah, that was a great idea.
So it might be that one. Yeah,
Hope so.
I have some other ideas, but I think that one would be easier to flesh out. So I can probably write that one in. If I were to write this one and then that one, like it would make more sense to go for that next if I want to write two this year.
Sure. Maybe something a little lighter to cleanse
Yeah.
the palate.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you for sharing all that.
Thanks.
For anyone just joining us, we are looking at loglines and your upcoming year of scripts that you want to write. So we are giving feedback on loglines, offering refinement advice, and also helping choose between different ideas if you're trying to balance them or trying to plan out like the exact your milestones for your writing year coming up. We'll keep going down the list and we'll get through as many as we can today. We have Becky up next, and after is Dakota. Becky, are you there now?
Hey, yeah.
Okay.
Can I do career goals first, just because it's relevant to this? So, obviously, as you know, as most people here know, I'm like really close with this novel of getting it sent to the publisher. And a bit of advice I was given by a producer who picks up books for TV in the UK was that if it potentially got looked at and I wanted to write the script for it, with my background and my masters, he would totally consider it, and most producers in the UK would. But I've got to show that I'm still developing the skills, because when I did the masters, it was 2018, so it's quite a while away. So this year, I want to be actively doing more scripts, but my scripts in the past have been aimed at adults, horrors, whereas because I want to be doing this, I want to be, he recommended writing in the genre that my books are, so writing tween stuff. So
Sure.
this was a TV show idea that I was sort of playing around with. It's similar to my genre of novels. But yeah, that's my goal for this year, is to write at least this. Yeah. So the title at the moment is just Sanctuary. It's just like a whatever title. But it's like a tween cartoon. So think Star Trek Prodigy or The Owl House, like Disney. And normally they tend to be 2 15-minute episodes that make half an hour. Semi-serialized, but also very discreet in its tone, like each episode that it's about. That's kind of how Our House does it. So and again, as usual, I've got the story in my head. I find it really difficult to write it down as a log line. So this is where you can help me, because I know it's too long. So series logline. When Earth is destroyed before her eyes, stubborn, hopeful Iris, a human kid rescued by an alien race that saves species from extinction, arrives in a dazzling interstellar sanctuary. Finding out that the aliens use localized time travel to save species, she and her newfound friends work together to find and operate this machine against the aliens' wishes to save their families and loved ones.
Okay. Let's just have you read the pilot logline, and then we'll go through them one at a time.
Yeah, cool. So, pilot logline. After surviving the destruction of Earth, Iris struggles to find a place in a dazzling, again, alien sanctuary where displaced species from across the universe coexist. She resigns herself to the grief of losing everyone she loves until she uncovers proof that the rules keeping her and her fellow human children safe may also be the reason Earth was left to die.
Okay. She resigns herself until she uncovers proof that the rules keeping her and her fellow human so other human children were saved too?
Yeah, so because obviously I wanted to like focus on a main character, but the idea is that there's like a collection, say I haven't worked out exactly how many yet, but probably about 10 of them. I kind of was taking the idea, you know, the end of the film The Knowing. So you know the film The Knowing. Spoilers for everyone. Okay, it's all about the end of the world. In my case, it would be human caused, but it's all about the end of the world. They know it's going to happen, and at the very end, it happens.
Do you mean Nick Cage?
Yes, Nick Cage.
Oh yeah,
At
just
the end,
knowing.
it happens. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Knowing. Yeah, it happens, and his kid is one of the ones that's like saved by his alien species. I kind of was like, well, what would happen after that? So, the concept is that it's this alien species that doesn't understand family or love or anything like that, but its goal is to go around saving intelligent life at the moment of extinction. So it's something like, you know, all the nukes go off in the world and the world is destroyed or something like that. And it then uses localized time travel, so it affects like that solar system or that planet to go back. It can only do it for a limited amount of time. So, you know, if they don't manage to do it by, like, say, I don't know, a month, but obviously given time in their ship, but a certain amount of time, then they can't do it. It goes back a set amount of time before it's destroyed, saves a few samples, usually the young ones because they're the strongest, to grow and keeps them in a sanctuary. It's kind of like how we go in and take animals that are going extinct and keep in a sanctuary to try and breed them and keep the species alive. That's the idea.
Oh, so is it
But
sort of like
it's following this.
it's sort of like a zoo?
Yeah, kind of like a zoo. Yeah, I mean, I imagine it being more kind of free walking around, at least for the humans, because they're not going to go and eat the other aliens. Some of the more dangerous
Speak for
aliens might be
yourself.
kept away. Well,
But my question, so I guess when we hear sanctuary, I guess that can mean a lot of different things, right? In this case, you almost meant it like an animal sanctuary.
yes, yeah.
Right. Okay.
There's
So it's
different
not like a
aliens.
hotel. It's not like a school. It feels more like we're kept in stalls or like cells.
And I imagine it being more free roaming. So again,
Okay.
depending on the species. That's what I mean by, you know, humans aren't going to run around eating the aliens like say a Tyrannosaurus Rex would go and eat. If you had dinosaurs, you know, you can't leave a Tyrannosaurus Rex in the same exhibit as like, did you see what I mean? So like the humans are more free roaming.
Oh, but they say
Right.
they save non-sentient species or non-sapient species as well, you're saying?
No, I was just giving that as an example. Sorry.
Oh.
So, yeah, like I said, I just imagine it being like kind of this free roaming sanctuary. Obviously, there's going to be habitats because there's going to be different species that need different, like, so imagine if she wants to go into a different habitat, she's got to wear like certain gear or stuff. Like it's cartoon, we can kind of, you know, have fun with all of that. Like maybe she's got a permanent thing on her mouth to let her breathe or something like that. Kind of that kind of thing, but it's more free roaming. They're not really just kept in a, if you think about there's a difference between a zoo and a wildlife sanctuary. You know, a wildlife sanctuary, they're more you know, they wander around the area. They're sort of kept in their areas of what they need, but
Yeah.
like you wouldn't let a lion in with a zebra, but like the zebras and the giraffes all wander around together. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I think I'm with you. But so like I think your pilot logline was a little closer to clarifying the series hook than the series logline at the moment. Maybe just because the
I
series
felt
logline
like, yeah.
is kind of overburdened with a lot of words. But after
Yeah.
surviving the destruction of Earth, Iris struggles to find her place in a dazzling alien sanctuary where displaced species from across the universe coexist. That sounds like the hook of the show. Unless I guess maybe, am I understanding that you're saying then we discover our alien caretakers are actually up to no good and we have to sort of rebel against them?
Not that they're up to no good. So the way I imagine the first series going is that the first series is that they find out that the kids find out at the end of episode 1, you know, they're kind of grieving the loss of their families and the caretakers don't really understand it. And then they find out how the caretakers do what they do, and it involves going back in time. So at the end of the first episode, the kids are like, or near the end of the first episode, the kids are like, we need to, you know, great, we can roll back time and save Earth, you know, or at least save our families. Um,
And is that the focus of the
and
show? That's the direction it's going, where we're going to be doing a lot of time travel stuff to save Earth?
that's the background. Like, you know, I said that it's got kind of a little bit of serial arc, but then each episode is its own kind of. So that's the overall like background. So a lot of the cartoons do this. They have like an overarching ultimate goal, but then they'll have like the episodes are themed around its own thing as well. So like the overarching goal is them trying to find and work out how to use the time machine bit. But like also trying to navigate this new world and things like that. So there would be I don't know, an episode where they meet some character that's like give them some information they need, but also the episode is about this character being I don't know I've got nothing in my head now, I'm on the spot, but like I'm just thinking about the uh about the how a lot of these Disney shows run. It's very similar. So Amphibia is one I based a lot on. I put Owl House down as one of my comps, but Amphibia is about this girl who ends up being brought into this world. There's just basically frogs, and she's trying to survive and she's trying to live in. And each episode is another adventure that she has, but underlying that, there's this whole story arc of her trying to find her friends who's got traveled back with her and trying to figure out the box that brought her here and how to get home. It's kind of this background running thing.
So you're
That's how
saying
I'm
we won't really be doing any time travel in the pilot?
No, the time travel is they're trying to find the machine that would let them go back to the point just before.
So they could do
So they could go back to before Earth exploded, and I don't know, that's next year's problem. Either they keep trying, it doesn't work, or they only want to save their parents. That's next series problem.
I have a suggestion.
Let's
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
I would keep it just try to keep your log line two sentences if you can. And there you go.
I know. I'm always quite verbose with it, which then kind of helps me to cut it all down.
Thank you for that. So my thought is that you like time travel is such a can of worms that if you don't have to open the can, I typically wouldn't. Like it feels like your story like I mean, I understand that it's there sort of in the distance as like a goal for your characters, but it sounds like the hook of your show is the sanctuary. And that's to me what was unique
Yeah.
and fun about, and what you expressed quite well in the logline, different species from all over the galaxy kind of coexisting. It sounds like if the trajectory of your show is about us trying to find a time machine to go back to Earth, then that sort of takes your characters away from the central fun of the premise that you've set up. And I mean, I guess it could make sense for them to want to get back, but like I was more intrigued and drawn to the stuff that was on the ship. And I feel like your plot would also work if there was no time travel beyond perhaps we could stop time for a few minutes to save people from around the world. And then you can maybe even think of it. I'm not sure if you're really set on that goal for your characters, but I wonder if there's a goal that we could realize here on the sanctuary that doesn't require them to leave it behind forever. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I like that. I suppose I was like, I felt like, oh, I need something more than sanctuary. I was like, I need a goal for them, which is why I was going through the whole,
Sure.
them trying to get their parents or whatever. But
Could it, I mean, what if you can, could you reconfigure it? It could be maybe I could have sworn I saw one of my parents on Sanctuary. Are the aliens hiding something from us? It's sort of maybe like, is there a version that's a little more like Severance, where we sort of have to like dig deeper to the core of this place to figure out what secrets it holds?
oh yeah, maybe the alien
Maybe we're
species
not the
is
only
like,
kids. Maybe they saved other people too. Maybe the other humans are still out there.
yeah,
I wonder.
yeah,
I know you're early with this, so I don't mean to derail you if you had a good track that you were on, but I guess in terms of like settings that are based on a cool central location and have a lot of fun games to be played with the location, I think you'll find a lot of the best meat of that will be in requiring your characters to engage with the setting to accomplish and advance their goals.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not the it's more the premise of the sanctuary bit that's like exciting me as well. So like I'm more open to at this point I'm open to like many different ideas. So
Okay. Yeah, I don't know specifically exactly what you want to do with that, but I would think to me the setting is the hook. It's the title. It's the core fun of this, and so you probably don't want to align your characters in such a way that they're trying to move away from it.
yeah,
That's my thoughts there. I won't speak too much to the phrasing just because I know you're kind of early and you already are aware of the like length constraints and the verbosity kind of issue, but I think maybe just conceptually speaking right now, you've got a strong foundation. I would just think that you kind of nailed it at the first part of the pilot log line, and the stuff surrounding that feels like it might be taking it in a slightly different direction from that. So yeah,
yeah.
maybe
That's
refocus your character's goal a little.
Yeah, I can't remember who it said that they find it hard doing the log line when they haven't written something. I'm the same. I find my log lines, I can write them a lot more streamlined once the thing is written.
Yeah, for sure. It often requires something like that. And is it like 5 boys, 5 girls? So it would make sense that they took a even split of like male and female, right?
Yeah, yeah, that definitely would. Yeah. Oh, and it's tweens, so you'd have the whole awkwardness of like
Yeah, now we have to
working
get together
away.
because we're the only ones left.
Yeah.
And none of us speak the same
Yeah.
language because it's like pluribus. Like we took one person from Portugal, we took one person from
Is that
you know.
is that what got that different? Did you inspire me, Connor, with your idea?
Oh no, no, no. There's an element to this. It's nothing like this at all. I just mean in that there are some strangers that are all from different countries and can't really communicate. It's just like an element of
Yeah.
a TV show on right now. But you could consider that. Like, how do they act? Like, they probably didn't take 10 English children, right?
Yeah, no, 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 no. It'd have been all from around because they want diversity.
Right. So yeah, that might be worth giving some thought to. Like, who do they specifically choose, and like, how does that play into their dynamic now?
Yeah, yes. And it's got to be like an antagonistic force, and they've got to make friends with an alien, all of that kind of stuff.
Oh, sure, sure. But yeah, even I mean, I was kind of find it refreshing that it wasn't about the dark secrets of the aliens that are keeping them there. It's sort of more like, although I know my suggestions were along the lines of maybe they do have to discover the secrets of this place. It doesn't have to be because they're evil.
No, I don't think they're evil. I think they're just different and don't understand like family units.
Yeah, yeah. Or like
Mhm.
cultural differences or language differences or things like that.
Yeah.
They got like one 26-year-old who just looks kind of young.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Good stuff here. Nice foundation. Looking forward to seeing you build on it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Becky. Okay, we got a couple more. Looks like we have 2 more. We'll probably wrap up after this. If we have more time, you guys can include, or you can post in docs and assignments. Dakota, are you there? Are you ready to go next?
Yes, I am. Let's
Okay.
go.
So you got a bunch of stuff here.
Yeah, let's just focus on one just for the sake of time.
Okay, or we could sort of yeah, let's maybe and we do have time, so don't worry too much about the time.
Okay,
But
cool.
I will say just why am I whose document? Oh, this is Becky's document. Sorry. Okay, here's a bunch of stuff. We could focus more on a specific logline, or we could focus on sort of like your overall planning of your year if you want, and like which scripts you want to write if you want to. What would you prefer?
Sure. Let's focus on Renard because that's kind
Okay.
of the main focus at the moment. And then I would like to basically I would like to at least do 2 scripts this year. It's just a matter of picking the other one.
Right.
Because I know I'm gonna do this one. It's just a matter of, okay, what's the second one I want to do?
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at.
I'll have some more questions about that too, because I remember some ones that you started before that I was looking forward to seeing finished as well. So maybe I wonder if any of those are worth finishing, or like, or there maybe you thought maybe there was some reason that you moved away from them or something. But we can talk about that soon.
Sure.
Okay, we'll start with Reynard. So we looked at this a little bit yesterday. This is the swashbuckler about the little fox who is a
Yep.
little crime guy. When a wily fox delays his execution by inventing a mythic treasure, yeah, or like spinning a tale of a mythic treasure, maybe, because inventing sort of sounds like he makes it right there, but you mean like inventing the idea of it almost. He must
Yeah.
fabricate the treasure and evade his ruthless uncle before he is recaptured and executed. Okay, is fabricating but doesn't he end up doing a bunch of heists and stealing real treasure?
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like less that he has to fabricate it and more that he has to do a bunch of heists or he has to like rob six dukes in 6 days or whatever, if you want to put it in like heist specific terms. Like if you want to make it feel like an
Right.
Ocean's 11 kind of thing, you could even easily make it
Sure.
seem like he has to do the impossible, right? In order to pay off this this debt that he created for himself, he's going to have to rob 6 barons in 6 days, or just some arbitrary thing that sounds kind of like that.
Sure.
That
Sure,
might
sure,
give it
sure.
a good sense of what he's actually really trying to do there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay.
it sounds like he's not trying to counterfeit the money. He's trying to get other money to pay off the debt. The treasure isn't the real problem. It's I need to get something worth that much.
Right.
Okay, but you're very close. And evade his ruthless uncle before he's recaptured and executed. Okay, the rest is all there. So if
Okay,
just
cool.
I wonder if it's like by spinning a tale about a treasure, or by spinning a story like telling a lie about a treasure, something like that, and then he must perform a daring series of heists in order to pay off the debt, or something along those lines, or maybe even
Sure.
call that a specific heist. He must rob the vicious baron's treasury in order to get it, or he has to give us that sense of like that's one specific thing that he has to do to get enough money. If there's not one thing and it's just he kind of has to by hook and by crook get the money any way he can, that works too. But the I hope that's clear how you can just make a small adjustment there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Sweet.
Do you want to maybe we'll do the last logline, then come back to you and talk about
Yeah.
Which scripts to work on this year and other stuff?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. We'll be back with you soon. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem.
Teen screenwriter, are you here?
I am. Yes.
You are. Okay, great. Can you include title, genre, and comps with this if you have any of that? It's okay if you don't.
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry, let me put
Okay.
those in. So the script is called Brain Rot. I'll apply the minute chat. It's a Brain Rot. It's a comedy and it's a feature.
Okay.
And the comps are super bad, and this is the end.
Okay. So we're in the Apatow kind of world.
Yes, in that kind of wheelhouse.
Okay.
Teen comedy.
Alrighty. When a viral new app causes its users' brain cells to rot away worldwide, a shy teen and his 3 dumbass besties must embark on a cross-country road trip mid-apocalypse to shut down the app and save the world. Great fundamentals. The problem is really... I want to just ask a couple questions about the problem, because to me this almost feels like a horror comedy, but I get all the basics, and nice work. Great high concept. Couple questions.
Thank you.
So why, first of all, why them? And second of all, what do you actually mean it makes their brains rot away? But those are my 2 big questions. Go ahead.
Well, it's explained in the script, but the why them, it's a bit complicated. Basically the main character's father is a developer for the app, and he's secretly been working on this kind of like magic hard drive to kind of like shut down the app when you plug it into the data center for months, and he finishes it right after the app launches worldwide. And basically,
did I understand correctly? His dad works
yes,
for the app company.
and
Okay,
but but it has to be them because he uses the app and gets his brain and gets like dumbed down and has his brain cells rotted away. By
Who knows? The dad?
The dad. So it
Yeah.
has to be them, and they have to.
Okay,
cross
okay, got
country
it.
for that
I
reason.
think that seems like a pretty relevant connection. You might even want to draw that in the logline, where it's his own father's company, or it's not his company, but it
No,
is the
he's a
company that his
developer,
father
though.
works at. Right, right, right. But
Well,
that to me adds a level of almost culpability, or like you could almost feel like your own family like caused this to happen, so I have to be the one to clean up the mess. It also sort of says why he would have the ability to do it, because maybe you don't need to spell out he has the hard drive or whatever that can shut it down, but we might imagine that the child of the developer would have the means and know how to do it. So that I wonder if there's if you could try a version that even mentions that familial connection. That seems relevant to me. And then the other question was about
Alright.
the brains rotting away. What is that? What does that mean exactly? Do they turn into zombies? Do they die? Do they just sort of go into a vegetative
They just become
state?
like basically idiots. They just become idiots, basically.
Are they catatonic, or are they still going about their lives in some way?
They're catatonic, basically.
They are. So they're just like stuck in a chair, just scrolling and swiping on the app forever.
Catatonic, and they also just like do stupid stuff. Like they just like mime all naked. They like throw fire extinguisher into their bellies.
Oh, they're doing like viral challenges and stuff like that. Are they eating Tide Pods and stuff?
Does that make sense, or it might not be specific enough?
Oh, sorry. Did you hear me just a moment ago? I was asking, are they doing sort of like what you might consider to be viral
They are not. No,
challenges? Oh,
they're
not.
just like
Okay.
basically just like doing silly things.
Just doing silly things. Okay. It's a little hard to understand that from the logline exactly what that means or what the stakes are of that. I mean, it's not a big deal. I still basically get it. So part of me just wants this to be a horror comedy because Brain Rot is such a great title for that. But and also just because I guess that would amp up the stakes a lot, wouldn't it? It's like they're gonna die if I don't. Or they will, I don't know.
Well, the stakes are eventually amped up. Like
They are.
it's mid-apocalypse. Eventually, the stakes get amped up in nuclear war, but that's like later in the story.
Okay. It's like it's sort of like Idiocracy might be a good comp. Is that what?
Yeah,
Is that right?
Idiocracy. That's a good.
Okay. Okay. Got it. So yeah, I guess I was trying to assess, is the world still, like you say, mid-apocalypse, but does that mean that like everyone is sort of just like rotting away in their home, or are they still going about their lives in some capacity? That I don't know that you necessarily need to answer that, but that was a question I had. Like, what specifically does that mean? Like, how is brain rot causing an apocalypse?
All right, that makes sense.
But yeah, even
Like,
if you don't
like
do that,
imagine like
go
that,
ahead.
like a viral app causes its users' brain cells to rot away, world rot, and turn to idiots. Like something like
Sure,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Logline then.
Would you say it just sort of like saps their general intelligence, and then they get dumber over time? Is that how it works?
Yeah,
Okay. Got it. So it's not quite like Stephen King's Cell, where it's like they all at the same time get turned into monster people from a pulse that goes through their
they're not
phones or
monsters.
something.
They're just
Okay,
just
they're just dumb. Got it. This is too realistic, I'm afraid. This is not even this is just real life, isn't it?
yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
nice job with this. Great premise. There's a lot of there's a lot there. I would just try to answer this question of that connection between the characters because that answers my first question of why them, why him.
All right, got it. That makes sense. Thank you.
Any questions from you?
No, that's it. You think? Yeah.
Okay. And anything you want to speak to in terms of your scripts you want to write this year, your planning, your goals moving forward?
Might want to do another feature. Might try to query this feature. I think this is like almost ready.
Oh, you've
This
already
one.
written it.
So yeah, this is already written.
Got it. Got it. Cool.
Yeah,
Sounds
I'd be
great.
happy to share with anyone who wants to read it.
Yeah. If you want to get readers, you can post in chat. Let them know how they can do that, or if you're open to DMs or however you want to do it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing. Nice work. Did I miss
Thank you.
any? We do have half an hour left, so we can talk with Dakota for a bit. Did I miss anyone's log lines though?
You were going to go back to Megan if you had time.
Oh, good point. Megan, would you like to look at your log line?
Never call Megan. I'll call you out and you're not even there. Megan.
That's okay. All good. We will have.
I'm here. I'm here. I'm
Oh,
here.
excuse me. Would you like to look at your logline now, or are you okay waiting until the next event?
Please. No, if you have time, please.
Okay. Let's bring it up.
It's short, so
Okay. All right, and this is, I assume, for a novel?
it's for a novel, yes.
Okay. And so novel, and I don't see a title, genre, logline, I don't see a title, genre, or comps, but I'm guessing
I don't
probably
have a
supernatural
title.
romance. I'm guessing
No
paranormal
title.
romance.
Paranormal, yeah, paranormal, romance slash, um, my brain just froze, murder mystery.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, when a vacationing supernatural law enforcement official stumbles upon a grisly series of murders, she must catch the perp while confounding local police in order to conceal the presence of demons from humankind. Whoa. Let me go back and try that again. So she's on vacation. She's a supernatural law enforcement official. Does that mean she enforces supernatural law? Or does that mean she's a magic person who's a cop?
It means that she's a magic person who's in charge. She's actually a vampire in charge of supernatural law enforcement to keep the presence of demons secret and also to enforce, keep the ones that are creating a problem from creating a problem.
Oh, okay. So she's not a regular cop. Got it. Because that was my question.
Yeah, she's kind of like supernatural FBI.
Okay. I was just sensing an ambiguity between, is she a supernatural law enforcement official or is she a supernatural law enforcement official, which would just be a regular cop that has magic?
Both.
Oh, she's a
Both.
regular cop as well?
Well, she's not a regular cop, no.
No. Okay, so no.
But she's both. She's both supernatural law enforcement and supernatural.
Got it. But I'm trying to assess, does she have the duties of a regular human police officer? The answer is no, it seems like. She is explicitly a supernatural
No.
operator. Got it. Okay.
Yes.
So she's on vacation. So every series of murders is grisly. So I just would lose that entirely and try to find a more specific way of describing it, especially if there's some kind of like mystery hook to it, like a series of drownings or a series of, if you can like give us a sense of like what the motive or like the MO might be, or any kind of like connection or clue that's there might just kind of like speak to the hook of the story. Anything besides just saying
Cool.
grisly, that's just like, it's tough to murder someone in a
Of
non-grisly
course.
way, right? Yeah. So also just specific hook there. Series of murders. She must. So the fact that she's vacationing is kind of just like setting us up for like where we are in the story. Is that right?
Yes.
Because as soon as she finds this series of murders, she's no longer on vacation. She seems like she has to now do her job.
Yes.
Right. Okay. All right. So in that,
do her job without her partner.
Without her
kind
partner.
of thing.
Okay. So to that capacity,
Yeah.
I wonder if even rather than saying she's vacationing, maybe tell us where we are.
Okay, I'm still working on where they are. I'm thinking it's probably either rural New Jersey or rural northern New York.
Okay. Because that tells us a little more about what we're going to be watching the character do rather than just saying she's on vacation, because we don't know like where she's from or where she currently is. So I wonder if that would maybe kind of add a little more texture to the, make the setting feel like more of a draw to the story. Murder mysteries often have the setting as a big part of the draw.
Yeah, she's in like a small town with a lake and that kind of thing.
Got it. Okay. And is she like a big city kind of cop, or is she used to this type of setting?
Yeah, she generally has, a much larger sort of urban beat.
Got it. Okay. So she must catch the perp while confounding local police in order to conceal the presence of demons from humankind. So is that kind of just like that's just something she has to keep a tab on during her investigation, or does the crime itself involve revealing the presence of demons to humankind?
The crime itself would reveal the presence of demons amongst humankind if the police were to figure out what actually happened.
Oh, and will they figure that
So
out
while
without
she's trying to catch the perpetrator, she also has to keep the local police from actually finding out what really happened.
Mhm.
And then there's another wrinkle on top of that, which is that I don't know whether it's going to end up being the chief of police or the mayor, but one of the local officials will be somebody that she can't glamour, that sort of rare 1 in a million person that you can't mesmerize.
Mm. Yeah,
And so now she's screwed into like trying to
the love
figure
interest,
out
usually.
how to steer them in the wrong direction while still figuring the thing out herself.
Okay. So to that end, I think instead of while, you want to say before. So that's going to tell us like what's at risk of happening. If you tell us while confounding local police, it's unclear which goal is more important. So if
And before local police, right?
right. So I'm not sure the exact phrasing, but if you want to, if that's the main problem, like the reason she needs to rush to catch this guy, I would assume is also to prevent more murders. But you're saying there's sort of the added
well.
weight of if I don't act, then the cops will put together that demons exist, I suppose. Is that right?
Yes, that
Okay.
supernatural creatures exist, and that would create a danger for all supernatural creatures.
Okay. So in order to highlight and underscore just what's important in the stakes, tribe, she must catch the perp before rather than while.
Yeah.
Stakes. There we go. All right. I think I get it now that I've asked some questions about it. Makes more sense. Any questions from you?
No, I see exactly what you're trying to tell me in terms of this, and there's a couple of things that I'm going to have to make decisions about because this is a very new idea.
Mhm.
I wrote the first 3/4 of the first chapter, but it's not by any stretch of the imagination there yet.
Cool.
The character came to mind first, and I write the first portion of the first chapter. It might not end up being that way when I'm done,
Right.
but it allows me to set a thing up.
Right. Okay, great. Thanks for sharing.
All right.
And do you want to speak to your career this year? What do you want to write this year? Is this your big project? Do you have more than one? How many do you want to write? What's the idea?
My main project this year is to finish the novel that I'm working on, because I changed it from adult to new adult / YA crossover, and because I got accepted to this course that has that first look deal with Chicken House. I'm concentrating on that, but I'm already kind of at the halfway point with the fix on the ripples out, and I just have a few more little details to finish up the last half. So I'm tucked well into that, and then I also want to get a quick outline and some log lines and a couple of quick synopses for the next couple of novels that I potentially have planned, so that when I go to pitch, I'll have both the thing that I have completed and potential future works. So that's sort of where I'm at right now, where I'm just hovering for the moment. I took a break over the holidays, and now I'm getting tucked well back into just presenting a couple of the other ideas that I have as also, this. If you don't like that idea, how about this one?
Yeah,
Kinda.
have a big list to draw from. It's a good idea.
Yeah, so just the next 3 or 4 things, I just want to get a nice rough outline on them, or even, a brief synopsis, even if it's, 500 words or so, and then, log lines for each thing.
Right. Awesome. Sounds very doable.
That's it.
Thank you, Megan. And looks like JW Steed on YouTube suggests you check out Dresden Files if you haven't yet. Maybe you've read a few of them before, but yeah, some good inspiration there. Thank you, JW. All right. And that's right, everyone. We see our social media comments. Just sometimes not right away. All right. Dakota. You still there?
Yes.
All right. Let's get into what were we looking? Oh, so you have a bunch of different ideas. Are these what
Yep.
you're trying to decide which one you want to write after Reynard?
Yep.
Okay. Let's take a look. So we've got a historical crime, an action drama, a martial arts action comedy. Love it. I just wrote a martial arts movie. We got to bring them back. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
These all sound cool. Before we get into these, let me just ask, Aristides, what's the status?
Yeah. So that has been shelved because it was basically uh, just things essentially happened like life-wise. I just could not finish it. I was not happy with the uh basically where I was with it. It was just not working out. I may like unshelve it later. I just think that it was not the that I did not have the skill to really pull it off necessarily. I just didn't feel like I was really ready to tackle that. Um yeah, it was just a lot to just kind of really go into, and it was beginning to be uh it was getting to be taxing. So I was just like, let me just pause this. I'll come
All good.
back to it when I feel like I'm able to actually pull it off in the way that I want to. It was just not going well.
Okay, all good. It's good to recognize your limits and what you can make that mental space for. I will just say, only caveat, I felt that way in every single script I've ever written at some point. So like
Yes.
just
Yeah.
expect that to happen. Like that'll happen with this one too, but just be ready for
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
Okay, with that in mind, we can look at these brand new ideas if these are your top choices for the moment. You have
Mhm.
and I'll go a little quicker. We won't like go way into the weeds, and then I'll read them through, and then maybe we'll try to focus down on one.
Sure.
We've got historical crime, Monuments Men, and Sherlock Holmes. Thunderclap. After the Delft explosion kills a prominent painter, a reclusive detective must track down the arsonist and recover the stolen artwork before the Dutch seat of government is destroyed. That's right. I think you talked about this a long time ago. Delft
Yeah.
explosion. This was, yeah, that's why it's called Thunderclap. This was it like a ship full of munitions or what was it again?
It was a gunpowder factory that exploded and basically destroyed half the city,
A
and
factory.
it killed Rembrandt's protege.
My God. What was the ship? What was the explosion I'm thinking of that was like World War One era? That was, I think it was on a ship in a harbor. Do you know
Oh,
that one?
I can't remember now. I know what you're talking about, but I
Yeah,
can't remember.
it was way later, but
Yeah.
this
Mhm.
wow, this sounds like a crazy story. I'd like to see that in a movie.
Yeah, it's insane.
All right, so kills a prominent painter. A reclusive detective must track down the arsonist and recover the stolen artwork before the Dutch seat of government is destroyed. I guess it sort of seems like it's landing on answering a problem that I didn't know was present. Why is the Dutch seat of government at risk of being destroyed? Let's come back to that one in just a minute. All
Okay.
right, Dakar, action drama F1 Hidalgo. Oh, a race movie. I've also written a car chase movie. After his father's murder during the Dakar rally. Okay, that I do have to Google. It is a French
Insane.
off-road race.
It goes from France to across the Sahara into Senegal. That was the original
Oh my God.
path.
It's
Yeah,
like
it's
Mad
insane.
Max.
Yeah, it really is.
And they drive these?
Uh, there's actually a bunch. There's rally cars, there's motorcycles, there's
Oh, you
trucks,
can drive
there's
whatever. It is like
buses.
Mad Max.
Yeah. It is.
There's somebody in a gyrocopter.
It's amateurs and professionals too. So the original race had like 130 like vehicles to start in Paris, and it ended with 72 surviving. So
72 surviving vehicles or 72 surviving
yeah,
contestants?
72 surviving vehicles.
Oh,
Dude.
okay. How many
Yeah,
surviving
I
racers? Like
don't
what?
know.
Okay. Well, that's a crazy
It's crazy.
race. I mean, yeah, I'd love to see that movie. Nice pick. Let's see the logline. Okay. Now that I know what that is, that makes that exciting. I would say if someone has no idea what that was, I would try to write the logline in such a way that they could at least understand that it's a race across the Sahara. You know what I mean? Like that is pretty clear.
Right.
All right, a resentful amateur rally driver. Resentful. Okay, let's come back. Teams up with a veteran rally driver, to hunt his father's killer in the Sahara Desert before the killer disappears into the continent. Wait a minute. So I thought I understood. Am I understanding that the race that he wants to hunt down and find his father's killer in the race? Or am I
Yes.
way off? Yes. Oh, okay.
Yes.
It's a great idea, but it's not quite. It clear in the logline that you mean that. It sort of sounds like he's just tracking him down in the desert. You're saying an amateur rally driver enters the next year's race, or how long later is it?
It would be, it would basically be that, whatever the following year's race.
Just the next
that
year.
would
Okay.
be-
It's not like he grows up and gets revenge, Kill Bill style, like years down the line. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, great idea. But yeah, put that in the logline. So so we get the sense that he's joining the race with the explicit purpose not to win, but to kill a guy. Awesome. That's my favorite one so far. I've only read two, but let's get to the third one. All
Let's
right.
go.
Where the hell's my husband? Martial arts action comedy. I'm excited for this one. Rush Hour and Hitman's Bodyguard. You're speaking my language. When I was a kid, one of my favorite movies was Jackie Chan's The Tuxedo. I saw it as an adult. It's mostly just sex jokes the entire time. Why was I allowed to watch that? I will never understand. Okay. Where the hell's my husband? When her high-level government position husband, such an that's like an oddly clinical way of describing that, is kidnapped during their honeymoon, and typo there, a disillusioned, defected triad member, teams up with a by-the-book cop to find him before it escalates into a trade war. Hang on. A disillusioned, defected triad member. So the wife is an ex-criminal. What does she do now?
I don't know yet.
Okay. Teams up with a by-the-book cop to find him before it escalates into... Okay, right. But that's really kind of beside the point for her. She's trying to find him before he dies, you would think, right? Like, I think that's the main point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Some of the foundations are there for this one. It's not quite specific or hooky enough quite yet. It could be developed further, but it feels more like just sort of like, again, a kind of a description of the genre, like just the sort of stuff that we do in the genre. And it's hard to sort of conceive of your main character because halfway through the script, you tell us that she's a disillusioned, defected triad member. Like, I would try to avoid using like stacking a bunch of words or adjectives before a character. Even like high-level government position husband is like a bunch of words to describe that. When maybe you could just say
That's true.
when her senator husband or something like that. Just one word that would kind of explain all of that. And then disillusioned, defected triad member is also just like 4 adjectives in a row. Whereas it might be a little easier to understand if we know what she does now. She's like, she's in witness protection, or she's laying low, in disguise as a local teacher or something like that, right? In any case, this one feels like it doesn't have too much meat on the bones yet. So I think maybe just for focus purposes, let's look at the top 2. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So the top one, I guess I'm having trouble understanding why the Dutch seat of government is at risk. Are you saying there's going to be more explosions? Like we're to believe that the Delft explosion was the first of many?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that's the idea. So it's not an arsonist, it's like a mad bomber or something like that.
Yeah, it's like Guy Fawkes.
Oh, okay. So is it one guy, or is it like a cult or a sort of splinter group of anarchists or something like that?
Yeah. It was believed for a while, actually, like in actual history, that because for a while it wasn't known why this occurred. But there was a possibility that it was somebody trying to basically dismantle the government.
Was the Dutch seat of government in Delft?
It was in The Hague, but Delft was like where a lot of trade was and things like that. But The Hague was where the government is, which is not too terribly far from Delft.
Okay, but I guess what you're saying is, though, the explosion is the hook seems to be the detective gets wind of, or comes up with, has this hunch, discovers evidence that the Delft explosion was in fact the first of a string that is planned, and it's about stopping either a mad bomber or anarchist group or something along those lines. It'll feel kind of like The Dark Knight or one of these movies that's like, we are playing that deadly game with the criminal kind of thing. Is that right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. That was not quite explained in the logline for me, and so if you could reframe it a little bit more along those lines, it might work. But I would rather probably focus on Descartes just because this one I think is a brilliant idea.
Okay, that's fine.
Such a cool setting, such a cool real thing that exists in the world, and you gotta love a sort of story where the character enters the competition not to win. I love those. It works really well in like Bloodsport type stuff. So for this one, I think just the important part is that he joins the race. Might be kind of worth giving a sense of, has a year gone by, or has it been 10 years, and has it been like a kid growing up to get kung fu revenge kind of thing, or is it just like
Mhm.
as soon as possible? You know what I mean?
Right,
Resentful.
right.
So resentful may not be your best word either, because he's on a
Okay.
revenge quest. We could assume that he's resentful. Maybe think of like, what was his status before? Was he respected? Was he well known? Was he a good driver? Or is he sort of just taking this up for the first time? You know, was he like if he was sort of estranged from his father for some reason, has he gone into some sort of whirlwind? Maybe he has to like return to rally car driving. You know what I mean? Like maybe if he was raised as like a driving prodigy, and then his moves away from it or becomes estranged with his father. Father dies. Now he has to rejoin the race and sort of rekindle his old skills with the help of this veteran who's going to like show, teach him, help him shake the rust off, so to speak. Um, that to me is a much clearer, just like expression of who the character is and what that journey is that he's going to be making emotionally and like mentally. The motivation of you want to murder somebody that killed your master or mentor, something like that, is very easy to understand, but it doesn't provide a clear character arc for us. So I would
Right.
bring out that character arc a little more and give us that sense of who is he at the beginning of the story and how will that sort of be tested or challenged or changed. Was he like, did he become a charity worker after this? Like he's never like did he become a Boy Scout and like a good guy who would never commit a crime in his life? Maybe he moves away from rally car world because it's too dangerous and full of corruption or something like this. Now he's going to have to get dirty again and get his hands greasy on the wheel once more. Or, I would just try to find that journey and bring that to the forefront.
Sure, sure.
That said, I would watch this in a heartbeat. So you definitely have a
Yeah.
great subject matter here. I vote for this one.
Yeah, I really like out of these, this one kind of is my favorite. I really do like this. I've always wanted to try this. Like this kind of thing. Like the Dakar rally is cool.
Yeah. I just heard of
It's
it. I already
really
think it's
cool.
cool.
It's really cool. And the thing is that it it changes location every year, or not every year, but like every once in a while. So it was in Africa, and then they moved it to South America, and now it's in Saudi Arabia. So basically,
Okay.
in arid desert places, essentially, is where it is. So yeah,
Yeah, you take your pick, I guess.
right, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Maybe find the most common, like if it was in Africa for a long time, it might make sense to just set it in Africa
It
again.
it is the most famous. That's kind of the most famous. That's where it became famous. It was in Sahara for like since its
Mhm.
inception to about 2009. So it started in 1978, and about 2009-ish was when it stopped being over in Africa. So that's
It's
kind of
yeah,
the
probably a good
most.
idea to keep it in the Sahara then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Plus, it's just insane. Who would do that? That's batshit. That's nuts.
Right. Right.
The deadliest desert in the entire world. Usually, people mostly think, right? So, that's a good
Yeah.
hook for the movie, right? Like, it's a death race across the most dangerous desert on Earth.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's real, and it's like Mad Max, but grounded in real life in a way.
In a real thing. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So yeah, great idea. Can't wait to see more of that one.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that'll definitely be fun.
Hope that's helpful. That's I
Sweet.
know it was just sort of brief comments on the other ones, but if you're just
Yeah,
trying
yeah,
to
no.
pick, hope that gives
Yeah,
you
yeah.
a boost.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Sweet. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing. Okay. I do see one more logline in the chat from Earl. Earl, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right. Do you want to look at your logline now?
Yes.
Okay. Looks like we have just 10 minutes left, so we'll probably wrap up with this one today. We do have more one-off events coming up. Okay. Feral West. Cool title. All right, and this is a movie, right?
Yes.
Okay. Supernatural Western psychological horror. Okay. My recommendation would be cut this down to two. If you say horror, we often assume supernatural, so you can probably lose that. And horror also often includes psychological elements too. So probably Western horror. Okay, I love that genre, by the way.
Mhm.
S. Craig Zoller is one of my favorite writers, writes a lot of stuff like this. All right, let's check out the logline. A young Native American medicine woman joins her tribe to, so say hurt or hunt? Give me a-
Sorry.
Okay. To hunt down werewolves. But when she becomes cursed, she must search for a cure before her mind decays into a state of brutal savagery and insanity. Okay. When you say young, how young do you mean?
She's around her 20s.
Oh, so she's an adult. When you say young, a lot of people will think kid.
Okay.
All right. So she 20 is an adult woman, especially in this era. And if you can specify the tribe, I also would do so. You know, just if it's like Lakota, Sioux, whatever it is,
Okay.
then you know, Navajo, whatever it is, I think that just adds a degree of specificity. Also, sort of tells us where in the world we are.
Okay.
Also, a script like this, you would be expected to take that extra step of authenticity in terms of the tribe and culture. So you want to put that at the forefront.
Right.
All right. She joins her tribe to hunt down werewolves. Why?
Because she's starting as a medicine, need her help to pretty much knock down these vampires and use their medicine or big powers to hunt them down and kill them.
Okay, sorry. I heard a bit of that, but it may have been because you're a little bit far away from the mics, so maybe just lean a little
Right.
closer. But I missed the reason of as to why they have to hunt these werewolves. Are the werewolves threatening their land, their animals, what's the reason?
It's more like it's pretty much like as they believe like it's a Wendigo, these werewolves, which is a Native American legend.
Right. So I'm trying to gather what is the threat? Are the characters under threat by these animals, or are they going on a hunt like out of their territory to find them?
Yes, they're a hunt. Yes,
Okay,
the latter.
the latter. So they're not under threat by them. So why do they have to do this? Is it like as a sort of coming of age ritual, or is it like what's the rationale?
It's more because they know these creatures are out there and they need to hunt them down before they do damage from other worlds that are not places that are not their own, like other white colors places. You know, these creatures are.
They're doing this to deliberately protect the white settlers?
It's more of like these. They know that these monsters are dangerous. They must be down and hunted.
Right. Okay. But so it just is kind of like sidelining the sense of urgency and danger. You probably want to start with something like when werewolf attacks send their community into a panic or something like that. That just sort of says like why we actually have to act now. Otherwise, it just feels like we could do this anytime. But more urgent, like the more important thing might just be that you don't even really need this first sentence at all. Like when you might even be able to start with when she, when she's bitten by a werewolf or cursed by a werewolf. I'm just going to pick a tribe. Lakota medicine woman must search for a cure before her mind decays into a state. So that means she's basically going to become a wolf forever.
Yeah, I mean because pretty much in this the werewolves, their minds do are actually they do turn into insane because of the werewolfism. It turns what it does to their minds.
Okay, so they sort of lose control, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Before well, I might just say before the curse lasts forever, before the curse takes her, before the curse consumes her. Something along those lines. Okay. Just because we might imagine that your character is cursed by a werewolf, she's already kind of decaying into a state of brutal savagery and insanity. But the point is that, like, you mean in a final kind of way, like she will lose all remaining humanity and become just a monster.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. It's not too bad. But you're pretty close. You're on the right track here. The only issue that you're
Yeah.
running into, I call shark problem, which is this thing, especially with shark movies. Imagine a logline like this. When she's attacked by a shark, a determined surfer must defeat the shark or be eaten by the shark. It's like you're kind of only giving us one central problem, which is when she's cursed by a werewolf, a woman must find the cure before the werewolf curse kind of like consumes her. My recommendation would be amping this up with a central relationship.
Mhm.
And that might mean like who does she have to work with or enlist or defeat? And that so it could be a villain. It could be, friend or family that could like add a level of stakes to this. It could be maybe think more closely about her role in the society, especially because it feels like you're in. Did you see the movie Prey?
I have not.
Okay. Highly recommend it. And
I will soon.
there's this idea that it's not exactly like this. The main character is like the chief's daughter. She's not a medicine woman. But the idea is that you have to go on this big hunt in order to earn your place as the next chief or chief female chieftress.
Okay.
So the stakes are very clear to that, right? Like on this, by the end of this hunt, you will have proven definitively whether you are fit to take over the tribe or not. So in your character's case, you might want to ask, like, could you bring out like the nature of those stakes more? Like, is there it in hunting this down, is there something else she will accomplish? Is she trying to prove something? Is this like the test to become a true medicine woman? Is it thought maybe like to defeat the werewolf, she might have to master magic in some way? So if you can maybe like kind of tie those together, I wonder if that might sort of clarify what her journey is there.
This is to become a man.
Okay, so like finding the cure for the curse is going to be like her test of her abilities as a medicine woman. I think I do see that as subtext. If you can bring that out a little bit more in the logline, that might really underline those stakes there. And then
Of
also
course.
think about central relationship. Is there somebody else that you can mention besides just her?
Yes. Maybe of her sister
Maybe.
or brother.
Okay, yeah, especially if they have some other important role in the tribe. That could be your brother is the tribe monster hunter, right? And you are
Yes.
turning into a monster. That might be just like and that type of angle is something you could play.
Yeah, definitely.
The other
That's
character you
something-
mentioned would be a big source of tension. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's something I have doubted. The
Okay.
family, where it's like dealing with the conflict of like kill or should her.
Right. Okay. So yeah, maybe if you bring out the specifics of that relationship, I think we'll get a good sense of why her and why what is the journey that this movie is following.
Mhm.
Any questions?
No. This is dots. Thank you so much. I'll
Thank you so much
definitely
for sharing.
Yes.
All right, great title. Okie doke.
Thank you.
We are at the end of our time. I'm not Danny McBride, but let me just center that there. All right, we're at the end of our time. We have a novel class today at 3 o'clock. So check that out on WordCamp. And we are moving into our new schedule this year, which is going to be labs on Fridays. The labs on Fridays are 12 to 2 and 6 to 8. And then the class slots on Saturday are 12 to 2 and 3 to 5. That's the schedule right now, at least. More updates soon. Thank you guys for coming by. We'll see you soon at your next Script Camp event or class.